Good morning, you are in the back room with Becky. It's a marvelous Monday, and we hope you had a wonderful weekend. I have been encouraging people to spend time with the people they love, doing the things that they love, because time is so short. We don't know when we go to bed at night who's going to be missing the next day. So I just encourage you to cherish, not just enjoy your friends and family, but cherish them. That way, you won't be negligent in any way. Speaking of negligent, what is our miserable mention today? The budget. Listen to this. Debt crisis. Countdown to August 2nd. See, we've been here before, you guys, where they said, oh, we're going to shut down the government. We don't have enough money to keep it running. The soldiers may not get their paycheck. The government workers may not get their paycheck. Well, you know, people are going to get just a little sick and tired. So here's the deal. The Washington Associated Press. The newly struck debt still in compromise between President Obama and the Republican leaders of Congress represents a historic accomplishment of a divided government, with all the disappointment that implies for the most ardent partisans inside the two major parties and out. But it marks an accomplishment nonetheless between a Democratic president elected in 2008 and the president who Obama memorably said handed his party a shellacking at the polls 2 years later. The Tea Party conservatives won't like it, regretting it doesn't cut spending by more. Someone has to say no. I will. Representative Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota said in a statement. She's a Republican. Email from Iowa Sunday night where she was courting Republicans for her 2012 presidential bid. That's Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota. Neither will the liberal Democrats, unhappy that it cuts it all. This deal weakens the Democratic Party as badly as it weakens the country. We have given much and received nothing in return, said Representative Raul Grijalva, and I'm sorry if I messed up your name, an Arizona Democrat and co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which means that Obama and his principal Republican antagonist, Speaker John Boehner, will share responsibility for passing it into the House. The early political tally looks like this. As the president demanded, the deal would allow the debt limit to rise by enough to tide the Treasury over until the 2012 elections, and the White House emphasized that the Pentagon could face its first cuts since the end of the Cold War 2 decades ago. I'm going to stop right there because that's where my gripe is. My gripe is that we've been financing these wars and rumors of wars to the point that we have crippled our country. And I don't know if you have seen or you saw the advertisement on TV, came on late night, and I was like, why this is not showing in the middle of the day? Because they were talking, this guy was like, he said, you know, I deal with drug dealers. And you know, when you don't have enough money, you can't go to the drug dealer. And if you owe them money, they own you. Think of the people that we borrowed money from, this man was saying, and realize that they are your dope dealers because you are now dependent on places like China and God knows whoever else. Not that means it's mostly the Asian countries that have some disposable income that they can throw our way. But mind you, when I heard the Republicans spouting off about putting tariffs and blocking this and blocking that, I was like, how you go block the people you renting from? Because we no longer own America. We are renting. That's right. Not even a lease with an option to buy. You month to month, baby. Till 2012 and something else happened. Now, this is not the best deal we could have got, but they made a decision. You know. It's a compromise, but some people are going to be unhappy no matter what. And guess what? Y'all just going to have to be unhappy. Because here's the real deal. Even in your household, We are experiencing times when I don't care how much money you make, it still just does not seem like enough. Now, the unfortunate thing is that I read yesterday in the news was that it will be the people like the social workers, the teachers, and the firemen and the plumbers that's going to hit, the 35 to 50,000 income people for annual income are going to feel the brunt of these tax burdens because they have to raise taxes to bring down the debt. How else you think they're going to do it? I say, again, like I said before when Donald Trump was running off at the mouth, put your money where your mouth is. You say you invested in this country. You all are making money because of this country. And you don't want to help. But you're getting all these breaks. Shame on you. You just don't even realize that your excessive wealth and your cavalier way of spending money, you're really worse than the government because the government is at least taking care of people. Who y'all taking care of? Now, I'm not saying I hate everybody that got $1 million plus, but I'm saying that everybody that got $1 million plus is blessed enough that they probably could bail this country out. I'm going to say what I feel, and I don't really care whose feelings it hurt. This is just the real deal. We send money to all these countries. That's like telling somebody come and borrow your rent money, and the rent man is pulling up to your house because you already late. You can't spend money you don't have. Come on now. We got to tighten up our belts. And this is not a recession. As my sister, the accountant, clarified to me, this is a depression. They changed up the name so as not to alarm us. But anybody going into the grocery store or driving up to the gas pump, too late, we already alarmed. Not just alarmed, but outraged. I think that this war, I think that 9/11, I think Homeland Security, I think that us helping all the other places that had a catastrophe. I know that y'all just trying to keep up appearances now. And that's ridiculous. That's like the people that are keeping up with the Joneses. They know they don't have the money to go out and buy a brand new car every year, but they gonna sacrifice because the Joneses just pulled up and they got a 2011 Lexus whatever. If we continue to try to live up to this image that we are the richest country in the world, we are rich in many things, but we got no sense about things. We're being so cavalier about lives, about the economy. Bipartisan, my ass. We all Americans. And it's time that we started acting like it. Because if we don't get together and solve the problem, if we don't work together, we shall surely perish together. I wanted to talk about my housewives last night, but they gonna have to take a back seat. I'll talk about them tomorrow. You're in the back row with Becky. It's a marvelous Monday because you got up this morning. That means you can have an opportunity to participate in your own survival. I would advise you, if you don't have a job, that your job is looking for a job. I would recommend that if you have been laid off or you think you're about to retire, that you start looking at creating your own wealth. This country was founded on the free enterprise system. And until we start producing more than we're consuming, we're going to be stuck like Chuck. And, Chuck don't give up. You in the back room with Becky, and I do give up. I care what happens to this country. I care what happens to our communities. And so I will keep being vigilant until things change. Peace, love, and understanding, as always, for the people.